Karen's heart breaks as Victoria pushes Emily, stuck in her wheelchair, onto the hot road. "Have your baby here," she snaps, ignoring Emily's shaking legs. Emily cries, scared, while Karen kneels beside her, tears falling, trying to hold her close and protect her from such cruel pain. Before watching this heartwarming story, comment below from where you watching. Also like and subscribe for more videos. On April 10, 2025, the Arizona sun burned down, turning Karen's car into an oven. He glanced at Emily, his wife, 9 months pregnant and strapped into her wheelchair. Her face was pale, her hands gripping the armrests as she fought the pain of her spinal injury. The doctor's words echoed in Karen's head, "Any day now." He just wanted to get her home, safe, cool, resting. They pulled up to their beige box house, the kind the HOA demanded, perfect, soulless. Karen helped Emily out, her wheelchair rattling on the driveway. But at the front door his key wouldn't turn. A red sticker screamed, "Access denied, violation, unapproved ramp color." Their ramp, built for Emily's wheelchair, approved by the city, wasn't beige enough for the HOA. Karen's stomach twisted. This couldn't be real. He dialed Victoria, the HOA president. "My wife's pregnant. She's disabled. We need to get inside," he begged. Her voice was ice. "Rules are rules, Karen. Fix the ramp." She hung up. Emily gasped, clutching her belly. "It's starting," she whispered, her eyes wide with fear. Contractions hit, fast and brutal. She tried to move, but her legs wouldn't obey. She slipped from the chair, collapsing onto the scorching pavement, her hands scraping the hot ground. Karen dropped to his knees, heart pounding. Emily's screams tore through him, each one a knife. Sweat soaked her shirt, her face red with pain. The pavement burned his palms as he held her shoulders, whispering, "I'm here, Em. You're strong." But inside he was breaking. His wife, who fought every day to move, was giving birth on a dirty street. He was a nurse once, but nothing prepared him for this. His hands shook as he saw the baby's head, Emily's body trembling with effort. Nobody came. Curtains twitched, but the neighbors stayed silent, scared of the HOA. Emily sobbed, "I can't do this." Karen wiped her tears, his own eyes stinging. "You can. You're my hero." Her next push was raw, desperate, and their daughter's cry broke the silence. A tiny, perfect sound in a world that didn't care. Karen wrapped her in his shirt, laying her on Emily's chest. Emily's exhausted smile was everything, but her pain haunted him. They were alone, betrayed, and he'd never forgive the cruelty that stole her dignity. The Arizona sun blazed down on April 10, 2025, scorching the pavement where Emily lay, her wheelchair useless beside her. Karen knelt, holding her hand, her screams ripping through his heart. Neighbors peeked from behind curtains, too scared to move, their silence louder than the heat. But George, the old mechanic from down the street, didn't hesitate. He ran out, his arms full of blankets and a bottle of water, his weathered face tight with worry. "Hang on, Emily," he said, spreading a blanket to shield her from the burning ground. A shy teenager, barely 16, dashed over with a faded beach umbrella, holding it high to block the sun, his hands trembling. Then came Victoria, gliding up in her shiny SUV, a smoothie in her manicured hand. She stepped out, heels clicking, and stared at Emily writhing in pain. "This is HOA property," she snapped, voice sharp as glass. "Get her off the grass." Karen's blood boiled, but Emily's gasp pulled him back. He squeezed her hand, whispering, "Focus on me, Em. You're almost there." Her eyes, wet with tears, locked on his, begging for strength. Every cry felt like it tore her apart, and Karen's chest ached. He'd promised to protect her, but here she was, exposed, helpless. George stayed close, pouring water on a cloth to cool Emily's forehead, his rough voice soft. "You're tough, kid. Keep going." The teenager stood frozen, umbrella shaking, tears in his eyes. Emily pushed, her body shaking, and Karen caught their daughter Lily as she entered the world, a tiny, perfect life born on a cruel curb. He wrapped her in George's blanket, his hands unsteady, and laid her on Emily's chest. Emily's sobs mixed pain and joy, her fingers brushing Lily's cheek. "My baby," she whispered, voice breaking. Karen kissed her forehead, tears falling. They'd done it against all odds. An ambulance screeched up, paramedics rushing in, but the miracle was already theirs. Across the street, a doorbell camera recorded it all: Emily's courage, George's kindness, the teenager's quiet bravery. And Victoria, standing cold as stone, sipping her drink, her words cutting deep. If she can't follow rules, she can suffer. That footage held their truth, a mother's pain no one should endure, and Karen knew it would burn brighter than the sun that tried to break them. In the hospital room, the hum of machines surrounded Emily as she slept, Lily cradled against her chest. It was April 11, 2025, and Karen sat beside them, his eyes burning from tears he hadn't let fall. Emily looked peaceful now, her wheelchair folded in the corner, but the image of her on that pavement, screaming, helpless, her dignity stolen, clawed at his heart. She'd fought so hard, her disability already a daily battle, and now this? A birth on a filthy curb, all because their ramp wasn't beige enough. Karen's fists clenched. He felt like he'd failed her, humiliated in front of neighbors who'd rather hide than help. His phone buzzed. George, the neighbor who'd brought blankets, had news. "My buddy across the street has a camera," he said. Karen's pulse quickened. He drove to the neighbor's house, hands shaking, and watched the footage. There was Emily sweating, crying out, her face twisted in pain. George and that kid with the umbrella trying to help. And Victoria, smirking with her smoothie, saying, "If she can't follow rules, she can suffer." Karen's throat tightened. That woman's cruelty wasn't just careless, it was evil. He couldn't let it go unanswered. Back at the hospital, he kissed Lily's tiny forehead, then Emily's, promising, "No one will hurt you again." He uploaded the video to the internet, his caption simple but raw. "HOA locked us out over a ramp. My disabled wife gave birth on the street." He didn't expect much, just needed to scream into the void. But by morning his phone wouldn't stop pinging. The video had exploded, 2 million views, then 5. Strangers' comments poured in, "This is heartless. Arrest that woman. Emily's a warrior." People shared their own HOA horror stories, but mostly they wept for Emily, for the pain no mother should know. Karen read every word, tears streaming down his face. He wasn't alone anymore. The world saw what he saw, a woman he loved, forced to suffer, her strength shining through the cruelty. Each view felt like a fist raised against Victoria's smug face. Emily stirred, whispering, "Did we do it?" Karen nodded, choking back a sob. "Yeah. They're listening now." He'd make sure Victoria paid, not just for rules but for breaking his family's heart. Karen sat in the hospital, Emily's soft breathing and Lily's tiny coos filling the silence. It was April 12, 2025, and the viral video had lit a fire, but Karen's heart still burned. Exposing Victoria wasn't enough. She'd humiliated Emily, left her to suffer on that pavement, her wheelchair useless, her pain ignored. Karen wanted more than justice. He wanted Victoria to feel the weight of her cruelty. His hands trembled as he scrolled through HOA records on his laptop, finding what he'd hoped. Years of complaints against Victoria, fines for crooked mailboxes, threats over kids' toys, bullying anyone who dared question her. She'd preyed on the weak, and Emily, with her disability, was her latest target. He called Mark Evans, a quiet man who'd quit the HOA board weeks ago. "She pushed me out for speaking up," Mark said, voice low. Then he sent Karen emails that made his blood run cold. One from Victoria read, "Emily's ramp is an eyesore. Lock them out to teach her a lesson." Another gloated, "She'll beg for mercy." Karen's tears fell, not from sadness but rage. This wasn't just rules, it was personal, a knife aimed at Emily's heart. He wouldn't let it stand. Karen rallied neighbors, his voice cracking as he stood on George's porch telling their story. "She hurt my wife, my baby. Who's next?" Faces he'd never seen nodded, eyes wet with anger. By April 14th, dozens gathered outside the HOA office holding signs, "No more Victoria. Emily deserves better." Karen handed Mark's emails to a reporter, her jaw dropping as she read Victoria's words. The story hit the news that night, Victoria's face plastered across screens, her venom laid bare. Karen watched, heart pounding, as her world unraveled. Victoria's polished life crumbled fast. Her country club banned her. No more brunches, no more smug laughs. Friends ghosted her, their texts unanswered. Her real estate business bled clients, her signs yanked from lawns. Karen heard she'd cried, alone in her big house, but he felt no pity. She'd stood over Emily's pain, sipping her smoothie, unmoved. Now she'd know what it was to lose everything. Back home, Karen held Emily, whispering, "She's falling him." Emily's smile, tired but fierce, was his reward. He'd torn Victoria's throne apart, piece by piece, for the woman he loved. Karen's video had set the world on fire. The footage of Emily crying out on the hot pavement, her wheelchair tipped over, spread everywhere. News channels blasted headlines, "HOA forces disabled mom to give birth on street." Strangers wept, their comments flooding Karen's phone. How could they do this? Emily's so strong. Mark's leaked emails, where Victoria called Emily's ramp an eyesore and planned to teach her a lesson, fueled the rage. People weren't just mad, they were heartbroken, demanding someone pay for Emily's pain. The district attorney didn't wait. Investigators stormed the HOA office, digging through records. They charged Victoria with reckless endangerment, disability discrimination, and blocking emergency care. The HOA board squirmed, blamed for letting her run wild. Karen sat with Emily in the hospital, Lily sleeping in her arms, and told her, "They're coming for her, Em." Emily's eyes shone with tears, her quiet nod saying everything. She'd been broken, but now the world was fighting for her. The trial came fast, the courtroom packed. George took the stand, his voice steady but heavy. "I saw Emily fighting to bring her baby into the world right there on the curb." Victoria just stood there, sipping her drink like it was a show, not a woman begging for help. Jurors wiped their eyes, heads shaking. Mark's emails were read aloud, Victoria's cold words, "Let her suffer," hanging like poison in the air. Karen held Emily's hand, his heart aching for every scream she'd let out that day. Victoria sat stiff, no remorse, but her eyes darted, scared. The verdict hit like thunder, guilty on all counts. Victoria faced up to 20 years, her face crumbling as cuffs clicked on her wrists. The HOA settled, paying Emily $3 million for the terror and pain she'd endured. Karen didn't care about the money, it couldn't erase Emily's tears the way she'd clutched Lily shaking on that street. But it was proof her suffering mattered. That night, Karen rocked Lily, whispering, "Your mom's a fighter." Emily smiled, her scars still raw but her spirit unbroken. Victoria's kingdom was dust now, and Emily's courage had won. The world had seen her, heard her, and made sure no one could hurt her again. Karen felt a quiet peace. Victoria's prison sentence was just the start. Her name was ruined, her smug power gone. Once she'd ruled the neighborhood, handing out fines like a queen. Now she was nothing, her fancy life torn apart. Her country club had kicked her out, her friends vanished, her business collapsed. Karen didn't smile, but he felt it deep down. She'd never hurt anyone again, never make someone like Emily suffer. He'd made sure of that, not just for justice but for every tear Emily shed on that burning pavement. The world hadn't forgotten. The video, the emails, Emily's courage, it sparked change. Arizona passed Emily's law, banning HOA lockouts and demanding homes be accessible for people like Emily, whose wheelchair wasn't a choice but a necessity. Karen heard lawmakers mention Emily's name, their voices heavy with respect. Strangers sent letters thanking her for standing tall, even when she'd been forced to her knees. Karen kept every one, reading them to Lily as she slept, promising she'd grow up in a kinder world. Karen and Emily left the beige suburb behind, moving to a small town where no HOA could touch them. Their new home sat on a hill, wildflowers spilling across the yard. Emily, stronger now, planted a garden bursting with reds, purples, yellows, colors Victoria would have hated. Karen built a ramp, painting it bright blue, a bold promise of freedom. They'd watch Lily toddle through the grass, her giggles healing the cracks in their hearts. Emily's smile, once rare, came easy now, her hands dirty from soil, not fear. Sometimes people recognized them, at the market, the gas station. "You're the ones who fought," they'd say, eyes shining. "Thank you." Some hugged Karen, others just nodded, but their words carried weight. He wasn't a hero, not really, he just loved Emily enough to roar when she couldn't. Holding her hand, watching Lily chase butterflies, he felt whole. The pain of that day, Emily's cries, the heat, Victoria's cold stare, would never fade. But it had forged something unbreakable. Their fight woke others up, gave them courage to push back. Karen looked at Emily, her laughter soft in the breeze, and knew they'd won more than revenge. They'd built a life where love, not rules, came first.